Hey guys, today I'm going to be talking to you guys about Rails Flash Partial. So what is a Flash Partial and why would you need it? Well, let's talk about normal Flash messages. Normally you would just have something like this in your controller and then basically you render this Flash out in the view and then your Flash message gets displayed. So this is a very simple basic Flash message. It's just got some text in there to show the user that, okay, hey, your post has been updated. Congratulations. Woohoo! But then what happens if you want a more complex structure in your Flash notification? Let me show you what I mean. Here I have a basic post creation application. It's super basic. It's just got one model. I'm going to try and create a new post. And let me show you what I mean. I'm just going to type a normal post over here. I'm going to hit save. And check this out. I have congratulations. And I have my text over here, and then I even have an edit link to go back to that page, go and edit my post again. This is a special kind of Flash message. It's not just some text. It's got like, H4 tags in there. It's got, it's a full-on, partial with like, HTML syntax, HTML tags, and, links and whatnot. So how can we do that with Rails? Well, if you did all that in the controller, you would have to include your view helpers in your controller, and that wouldn't be very clean. So how would we structure it in a way that we could use view partials, and by that because of that we can use view helpers in our partials. So we're going to start with a basic application folder here. So in the views folder, I've got an application folder, and I've got the Flash partial over here. This is basically just a Twitter Bootstrap basic structure for alert boxes. So if you're not familiar with Twitter Bootstrap, Google it, Twitter Bootstrap, and it should come up. So basically, this is how you would normally render, your alert box, right? Using this class with Twitter Bootstrap. And basically here is actually where we call the render partial. So this render is looking at Flash path, and then we pass in an object and Flash object. So just ignore this line for now. Just understand that we have a Flash partial with some basic skeleton in there. And then I'm gonna show you guys how we can fill this all out with actual content. The second step is we're gonna take a look at our Flash helper. So I created a helper over here called Flash helper, and it's got 4 methods. So I'm just gonna go through each one. Def render Flash. So where is def render Flash being called? So let's first take a look at what it actually is. Render Flash if CanFlash. Okay, well, let's just ignore if CanFlash for now, right? So I'm just gonna comment that out. Render Flash. This is pretty simple. We're just rendering a partial. Well, we're rendering Flash partial, so it's in our application, and this is the partial that we're talking about, right? So that's what the Flash partial is. So this is exactly what we're rendering. So now where are we calling this render Flash? Well, we're calling it in our layout, in our application helper. We have the render Flash. So over here we have CanFlash. So the CanFlash is, as the name suggests, it's just going to check if it's possible or not to display the Flash message. So our Flash structure, the way that I've set it up, requires these things, right? So if you look at the Flash object method, we're referring to the object type and we're referring to the object ID. So if we don't have these variables and these things in our hashes, in our Flash hash, it's not going to work. So that's why we need to make sure to check that the Flash structure that we get passed is valid. And that's how we do this over here. So this is pretty simple. We're doing flash.keys, which is going to return an array of keys. So Flash is like a hash. So basically the keys is just going to return all the keys that the Flash has. And the sort just makes it more simpler for us to compare. So we know that we're always going to have these keys in there, but I'm just doing an equal comparison, which is why I'm doing sort. So I'm just ensuring that the order of the keys that I'm getting from the Flash hash is, in this particular order. All right, so basically the CanFlash just checks if the Flash, hash is valid. If it's not valid, then, we're not going to render it. So here it is. So right now I'm going to enable back the logic that, gives us CanFlash. So basically it's going to render the Flash. if we can display the flash message. All right, so the next thing is the flash object. What is the flash object? Well, if you think about it, right now, when I create or update my post, so let's say, for example, the creation. When I create my post, I'm redirecting to the post index controller, right? The post path, which is going to come to the index action, right? But the thing is, our flash message actually refers to the @post object. So what that means is we need a way to get this object in our flash message without relying on the controller having to do the work. Like if we add a @post over here, that would be pretty, it wouldn't be clean, right? It's because the index should be able to display just an index of post. But at the same time, the flash needs to know which object we're referring to, which is why we're going to pass this into our setFlash message, right? Okay, so let's take a look at what the setFlash message does. Here is the setFlash method. And what we're doing is we're just having two arguments. We're having the type and we're having object.nil, right? If you refer back to the setFlash, we're passing success symbol as the type. And in the object, we're just passing the object that we want to work with the flash message, right? So essentially what happens is over here, we can get this object variable, and then we can get the class, and then we can get the ID, and we just pass it into these hash. So essentially at the end of the day, we're just going to get a flash hash with these 4 keys, right? Action name, all that's going to do is it's going to choose which action this flash is coming from. So that's why it's called a from. The type is basically going to choose whether this is a success or is this an error, right? That's basically the method that sets our flash, right? Simple enough. So once we've set our flash message, what happens? Well, let's go back to the flash helper. So we have these two methods here that use the flash message. So this flash object type, this is what we got from our flash object type object.class.name over here. So what are we going to do with that? Well, it's just going to be a string. So if I'm passing in a post, I'm going to get a string that says post. So here we have flash object type classify.constantize. So what that's going to do is it's going to turn our post into an actual post. So basically, it's going to turn this post into post, right? So it's just going to take some simple text and basically turn it into a constant that we can call methods on. So basically here, it's just like right now we're doing post.where, right? Simple enough. Why do we need to make it this complicated then? Well, what if we use this with other types of objects? Like what if we have a comment? We're passing in the comment object type. This ensures that our flash messages works with every kind of object, right? And then we're just doing a where clause here that's going to find the object ID, right? And that's all that the flash object method is. So the next thing is the flash path, right? So the flash path uses the flash.from 2s flash type 2s, right? So what does a file.join do? File.join, all it does is basically takes an array like, for example, if we have these 4 controller name flash. So let me show you with a simpler example. Let's say we have file.join blah yay. What this is going to do is it's going to output blah yay. So basically it's going to return the path, right? We're going to build our path using these variables. So the controller name means that we're going to have something like this. We're going to have post, right? And then the flash is just going to be flash. And the flash from, so let's say we're coming from the create action, it's going to be create. And then the type is going to be whatever we passed in, which is success or error. So that's basically going to be what this method is referring to when we're in the create action and the create could create the post successfully, right? because if you look at our post controller, it's setting Flash success and passing in the object post, right? All right, so how does it all fit together? Well, in this Flash message, if you remember, we had something called Flash path. So when you call, essentially all we're doing is just rendering a partial. The Flash path just dynamically computes and returns the path to the Flash message, right? And the object that we're passing in is basically the Flash object. So in this case, it's going to return the post that, we passed in from the controller, right? And okay, so once we have that, then we're going to render the Flash path, and the object is going to get passed into our partial. In our Flash folder in our under post, so view, post, Flash, create, I have two cases here. One case where it's a successful creation, and one case where it's an error. Right now this is empty, but you could easily go and fill this out yourself. So over here I have this H4 tag, congratulations, and your post has been successfully created, and I'm using my view helper here, and that's basically the object that I passed in, which is the post. So I can have this link here that's going to say edit this, this post, and I can click on that, and then it takes me to the edit page, right? This is a very cool way of, making partials, Flash messages that are very dynamic, and it has like a lot of options. Like you can use your helpers, your view helpers in them without having to actually include them into your controller, right? So this keeps things quite clean. And you might wonder why, we would need to go through all these trouble and, to set all this up. The truth is, once you set it up, it just works great, like right out of the box, In your controller, when you're writing your controller, it's very clean. All you have to do is do the set Flash and everything is done, right? So there's, once you set it up, it pretty much just works everywhere. And you can reuse this code over and over again. Now, if you have a small app that, you just have a few pages, you may not need to set this up. But if you're building a medium size to a large size Rails app, having a proper structure and a proper way of setting up your Flash messages can really speed up your development workflow. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed that and liked the video. If you like it, if you don't like it, tell me why you don't like it. That would be nice, and I will try to improve, as we have more episodes. Thank you, guys.